follow along with me. You should have your pencil or your finger out ready to follow along as I read. It says, Sean is planning a camping trip at Big Moose Park. He has been researching the hiking trails that start near his campsite. He has found this information about the lengths of the trails. So now he has a couple trails listed. He has Shady Pine Trail is 2 3/8 of a mile. Blue Pond Trail is 2 3/10 of a mile. Fox Run Trail is 2 3/4 of a mile. And Rabbit Hollow Trail is 1 9/10. And Wildflower Trail is 2 25/100. So we've got 5 trails that we need to think about today. Number 1 says, write the length of Blue Pond Trail as a fraction. Go up to Blue Pond Trail and star it for me. Put a little star by it. Blue Pond Trail right now is written as 2 3/10 as a decimal. How would I write that if I wanted to write it as a fraction? Addison, can you tell me how you would write that if you wanted to write it as a fraction? Addison, can you tell me that answer?
What was the question?
Make sure you're following along, please. It says, write the length of Blue Pond Trail as a fraction. So what would you write if that's a fraction?
2 wholes and 3/10.
Yeah, so 2 wholes, 3/10. So 3 is your numerator and 10 is your denominator. Thanks, Addison. The next question says, which trail is longer, Shady Pine or Blue Pond? Go up to Shady Pine and Blue Pond and put a circle by Shady Pine and Blue Pond. So now they're asking you to compare 2 3/8 and 2 3/10. Jump back onto Google Meets so that you can see what I'm doing. So jump back so you can see. Good. Welcome back. All right. So when I'm comparing fractions and decimals, I need to move all of them into the same mode. So I'm going to choose fractions because I know that I can move this very easily into a fraction. Now, Addison just told us that as a fraction is going to be 2 3/10. So if I'm comparing 2 3/8 with 2 3/10, which trail is longer? Shady Pine or Blue Pond? Can you tell me the answer to that one, Kalyan? Which one is longer? Would you rather have...
Blue Pond.
Yes. Oh, wait 1 sec. Would you rather share with 10 people?
Wait.
Or would you rather share with...
Shady Pine.
Yes. Remember, when our numerator is the same, we want to split it with the least amount of people possible. So Shady Pine Trail is longer. Okay. Now, I want you guys to stay here, and I want us to look, so come back to Google Meets. I'm going to do this one with you. Let's look at number 3. Which trail is longer, Blue Pond or Wildflower Trail? So Blue Pond is 2 3/10, And Wildflower Trail is 2 25/100ths. Remember when we are comparing, one sec, what's going on right now? Shavi, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. When we are comparing fractions, we start at the left and we cross out. Ready? So let's cross out, we're going to cross out the 2 and the 2. And then we're going to look at the tenths place. I have a 3 and a 2. I know that 3 is bigger than 2. So it doesn't matter that this is 5 and there's 0. I don't care about that. All I care about is the tenths place. So I can figure out that Blue Pond is bigger. Many of you guys on your quiz got that incorrect because you were thinking, well, 25 is bigger than 3. But what you're thinking of is 25 pennies, and you should be thinking 3 dimes. 3 dimes is more than 25 pennies because I've got 30 cents there. Okay? Head on back to Notability, and I want you to go to the next page. For this practice piece of it. Comparing fractions is so important. Let's look at number 1. Number 1 is comparing 5/6 and 2/3. It's hard for me to compare fractions if I don't have something in common. I'm looking for a numerator or a denominator that's the same, and right now, I don't have that as the same at all. So I've got to change one of these fractions to make it like the other. If I'm looking at 5/6 here, I know that I could change 2/3 into 6ths. So if 6 is my new denominator, I know that I would need to multiply 3 times 2 to get to 6. If I do it to the denominator, I have to also do it to the numerator. So 2 times 2 is 4. Now, I have a denominator that's the same, 6ths and 6ths. Now it's easy for me to see, well, I'd rather have 5/6 than 4/6. So 5/6 is greater than 4/6. That's a tough thing to look at. Let's look at number 2. Who thinks, oh, look it. Do you notice any similarities in number 2? O and B, can you tell me which similarities you notice for number 2? Is there something similar in number 2?
That, like, the numerators are the same?
Yes, the numerators are the same. Owen, I'm going to keep talking to you, so don't mute yourself. Owen, if my numerators are the same, then do I choose the bigger denominator or the smaller denominator?
The smaller?
Why?
Because if you'd rather share with, like, 8 people than 10.
Yes, and remember, denominators tell me how many equal parts I'm splitting the whole into, okay? All right, let's look at number 4. G-Day, can you talk me through how to do number 4? How am I going to figure out which is greater? G-Day, can you talk me through that one?
So what do you want me to do?
I want you to talk me through how I can compare 2 1/5 and 2 1/3.
So you know that the two whole numbers are the same? So,
Yep.
So now going to 1/5 and 1/3.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Do you notice any similarities there?
That the numerator are both 1s.
Yeah. So if the numerators are both 1, what should I choose? The bigger denominator or the smaller denominator?
The smaller.
Why?
Because then it's more.
You're right. I'm splitting it between less people, right?
Because in real life, the bigger the number, the better. But in fractions, it's the smaller the number, the better.
Yeah, I think when the denominator's the same, so if I'm doing thirds, then the bigger the numerator, the better, right? 1/3, 2/3, I'd rather have 2/3. The trick is when my denominator is different. I'm splitting it with 5 people and with 3 people. I'd rather split with 3 people than with 5 people. Okay. This is a tricky one. Who's up for a challenge? Who wants to walk me through how to do number 5? Someone who's up for a challenge. Who can walk me through? Come back, wave if you think you can do this with me.
It won't let you see me.
Oh, all right. Okay, Jack, are you ready for a challenge? Unmute yourself. Jack, how am I going to compare number 5? 5 and 5/8, 5 and 3/5.
So they have the whole number. So
One sec. Shavi, can you mute yourself? And then Jack, go ahead.
So they have the same whole number. So they have the same whole.
Okay, good. So I'm good with that. Then what?
And then you do 8 times 5.
Whoa! Why did you do 8 times
above.
5? Whoa. Why did you do 8 times 5?
Because you need to know which one is bigger.
I'm trying to find a denominator for both of them, right? So I know that I can multiply the 2 denominators and figure out okay.
So you do 8 times 5 on that one, and the other one you do 5 times 8.
Yes.
And you do the same thing on the top.
Exactly. So 8 times 5 is 40. 5 times 8 is 40. Jack, what's 5 times 5?
3 times 5.
Nope, 5 times 5, yep.
5 times 5, that's 25.
And 3 times 8?
24.
Wow, Jack, I'm so impressed you jumped to that common denominator. Give Jack a big clap and a half. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what Jack did is he multiplied, now this is a little bit of a trick, he multiplied the denominators to get a new common denominator that allows him to check out the numerators, 25 and 24. Well, once I have that, it's pretty simple for me to see, 25 is bigger than 24. So 5 and 5/8 is bigger than 5 and 3/5. Great work. Wow, Jack, that was awesome. I have one more challenge question for number 6. Who else thinks they can talk me through how to compare number 6? Wave at the camera if you think that you can talk me through number 6. Finding that common denominator like Jack did. Sorry, Jack, you can't do it again. All right, Michaela, talk me through this one. Do this with Michaela as she does it with me.
So since the holes are the same, you can't really tell which one is bigger because the holes are the same. So you're gonna go 12 times 10.
Oh, can I use my tens
10
trick?
times 12.
So 12 times 10, 10 times 12. Okay. If I do it to the denominator, I need to do it to the numerator. So Michaela, what is 10 times 12? Michaela, can you tell me what 10 times 12 is?
Yeah, I'm doing the math in a second.
Here, just take away the 0. 12 times 1 is 12. Add your 0 back in, right?
Oh, yeah, 120.
Yeah. So that's our new denominator. And then do that same trick with 6 times 10. What's 6 times 10?
120.
Oop, 6 times 10.
Oh, 6 times 10 is 60.
Now the tough one is 12 times 7. I'm going to quick set that up here. 2 times 7 is 14. 7 times 1 is 7. Plus 1 more is 84. Okay. So now which one's bigger? 1 and 6/12 or 1 and 7/10?
1 and 7/10.
Yes. Nice work, Michaela. That was tricky. All right. Fourth graders, you've done a great job. Let's just look what they've done on the bottom here. So it says you're finding common denominators, or you're finding equivalent fractions for 3/9. Looking at number 7, the new denominator they've created for us there is 18. Alana, what do I need to do to 9 to get to 18? 9 times what is 18?
9 times 2 is 18.
And Alana, if I do it to the denominator, what do I have to do then?
You have to do it to the top.
So then what's 3 times 2, Alana?
6.
Good. All right. Let's have Bryn. Can you do number 8 for me?
Okay, number 8. So first, you see how many times 3 can go into 15, which is 5.
Yep.
And then you do that to the bottom too.
Okay.
And then you see 4 times 5 is 20.
Good work. Nice job, Bryn. Thank you. So we've done a couple with multiplication. Let's get a little tricky. This time we're reducing these fractions or making them smaller. Shavi, can you talk me through number 10? What would I need to divide by?
By 4.
Okay, so I know 24 divided by 4 is 6. If I do it to the denominator, what do I have to do?
To the numerator.
So what's 20 divided by 4?
5.
Good work, Shavi. Okay. Let's do one more example of division. Shavi, if you can mute yourself, let's try Finn. Talk me through number 11. In this first word problem, we are being asked to compare distances of runners. This makes me think of our cross country and our track and field day. So Noah ran 4.5 miles. Noah ran 4 5/10 of a mile. Kara ran 4 50/100 of a mile. And Terry ran 4 5/100 of a mile. Who ran the shortest distance? When I'm comparing when I'm comparing decimals, I'm going to write all my decimals out on the line. And I'm going to start from the left and cross out my numbers. So starting on the far left, I'm looking at my whole numbers. I see that 4, 4, and 4 are all the same. Now let's zoom in and look carefully at the tenths place. I see 5, 5, and 0. My question is, who ran the shortest distance? So if I have 5, 5, and 0, there's a change there. 0 is smaller than the 5s. So I know that Terry ran the shortest distance. If you don't take the time to actually set these up and cross out the numbers, you will make a silly mistake, and maybe you might think that 50 hundredths or 5/10 is the shortest, okay? I want to go over your quiz now, so I want you guys to grab your practice book. I would like you to turn to page 375. Page 375. So your Google Meets should be open, and you should be with a pencil with your practice book on page 375. Mark has 100 marbles. 8 are bumblebee marbles. What decimal shows the fraction of marbles that are bumblebees? If I'm thinking through that, I have a total of 100 marbles. That means my denominator is 100. Of my 100 marbles, 8 are bumblebees. So I'm going to put my 8 as my numerator. What decimal number shows the fraction of marbles? I'm going to write 2 decimals here. Can you tell me if the first one or the second one is correct? Oh, can you guys not see my screen? Yeah, I should have said that. There you go. Can you tell me if the first one or the second one is correct and why? Wave at the screen if you know which one is correct, the first one or the second one.
Wait, Miss Holly. So we have to go along with you on this?
What?
We have to go along with you on this one?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Do you want them to be able to see your screen? Because they can't.
Right now they can't? Oh.
No.
Ha. How about now?
Yeah, now they can.
All right, sorry about that, guys. So you guys are doing this with me. We had 100 total marble.
Number 2.
Why?
Because the 8 is in the hundredths place, and number 1, the 8 is in the tenths place, and we have 100, not 10.
Absolutely. Good explanation, Taya. Thank you. Let's look at number 2. It says an insect egg can be as small as 2 hundredths of a millimeter. What is this number written as a decimal? 2 hundredths. Who can tell me what that would be written as a decimal? Wave at the camera if you know. Megan, what do you think? Megan, can you tell me what you think?
0 and 2 hundredths.
Okay, so if you said that, 0 and 2 hundredths, is that what you meant?
Wait, no.
What would I do? Can you tell me what to write?
You would put another 0, you would put a 0 behind the...
In the tenth,
period,
in the tenths place?
and then put the 2. Yeah.
All right, good. Now, number 3 was the one that it did not allow you to write the number. And I know, thank you, Mason and Michaela, for letting me know that. I'm sorry about that. For some reason, it kind of wigged out when I did the slash. However, so because of that, I counted everyone who's done this so far, I counted this correct, okay? So it says on a tree farm, 0 and 28 hundredths of the tree are oak. Write this decimal as a fraction. So if you did that and you tried to write it, you should have tried to write 28 hundredths. Okay? Number 4 was one that most of you guys got wrong. Let's do our trick. I want you to write on your paper 2 and 2 tenths for James. And for Casey, we have 2 25/100. The question is, who took less time to run the race? Talk me through how I would figure out who would take less time. Who can help me through that one? Jack, you've already answered. I'm going to call on your lucky twin. Reese, talk me through that one.
I think it is. I put James, but I'm not sure that's right.
Well, let's walk through it. Will you work through it with me? So, Reese, let's start in the holes. Do they have the same hour, like whole hours? It looks like you've got 2 and 2, right? So you're good.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's move to the 10th spot. 2 and 2. They're still the same.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's move to the 100th spot. I don't have anything. If I have nothing there, what could I fill that in with?
A 0.
Yeah, so let's fill that in with 0. Now the question is, who took less time? Is 0 or 5 less?
0.
0. So, Reese, you were correct. James took less time. Okay? 4th graders, that is me going over the quiz. I'm not going to go over number 5 because it's very similar to number 4. I only had a few of you do that quiz so far. You can find that quiz in yesterday's folder. You need to take that as we finish up today. Are there any questions about math or what we've been learning in math?